welcome back to Knitting in Our Jeans. I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
And you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Toolizzforyou, Toolizzforyou.
And I'm cpredmor on Ravelry, and if I post on Instagram, it's as Knitting in Our Jeans, because as we've explained before, I'm not switching back and forth between profiles on my phone. So it's Knitting in Our Jeans, and I don't think I posted anything this week, because I keep thinking about posting my progress on my cross stitch, and then I forget.
It's okay. So, I don't even know. I feel like I have been very unproductive this week, but I feel like that's also because I've been at the house most of the week, so, like, I feel like I haven't had a week. It's weird, because I'm so used to being here just on weekends, but I was here
Monday.
I was here Wednesday.
Yes, because we took your car.
Because we took my car over.
That was successful.
That was successful. Again, PSA, if you get a recall notice on your vehicle, go get it done. Oh,
and also, this is the first time anybody in the family has ever bought an extended warranty on their car. No, that's not true. I bought it on my Chrysler, which was also a good idea. And then we sold that car about 3 months before the extended warranty ran out. But she has one on her car, so it meant that the hum from the bearings...
Yes, from the wheel bearings.
Which sounds like it's pretty important, was covered.
It is. By the way, if you look it up, it's pretty significant for it to get fixed once it's identified.
Yeah. So it was, what, a total of $100?
Yeah. $110.
To get the wheel bearings fixed.
Which is upwards of $500, typically.
So. And then you may remember that prior to this, you had the transmission fixed.
Yes. Well, that was an issue that I had not been aware of at all, and I brought it in for a different issue, and my mechanic called me at work.
So did you hear that?
And I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, there's an issue with your transmission. And I was like...
They must think we're the most clueless people
They really
around.
must. But I mean, honestly, I've known Lou my entire life, so he also must just... He knows that we're not gearheads, I think, is part of it.
I think that's absolutely true.
Like,
so
we're
the last time I brought my car in, back in January, I said, I think I need new tires. And Stephen looks at me and goes, you need 4.
Yeah, so...
Whereas my husband, your father, said, they're fine. One of the rear tires
we
had
call
almost
shenanigans.
No tread. And my father used to say, take...
a penny?
A penny. And if Lincoln's head goes in, that's good. But if his head doesn't somewhat disappear, then you don't have tread. And I already knew, having checked on these tires before I waltzed the car over, that there was a small problem with the tread. I wasn't sure how bad it was, but apparently it was
quite bad.
4 tires. And they've been great ever since.
But yes, so my transmission had an issue. Fortunately, it was an issue that had a warranty, not a recall per se.
Right, but it's covered under the warranty.
But it was covered under the warranty, and there had been documented cases of this being an issue, so they were doing the
repair. They were welcoming people in.
Well, and they were performing the replacement of your transmission for free. So it was essentially, because I didn't pay anything for that.
You didn't pay a dime.
A dime. Because I actually wasn't in town for almost the entire thing. I flew out to Seattle.
You took care of it.
Mom was great. But I was coordinating the whole thing, and, I was like, my parents are going to be the ones dropping it off. Let me know if you need me, to give them my credit card to, pay it, and they were like, so it wasn't a recall, but it was a warranty, totally covered, no cost to the car owner. So this is our PSA of, if you can afford to get the extended warranty,
sometimes it really
works out. If you are just so blessed as I am.
It really worked out well with the Chrysler too, because the Chrysler was a dog.
Mind you, my Subaru is wonderful, and I honestly...
Tell me how much we love the loaner.
Oh, so we got a loaner. We got a 2020 Subaru Forester. I have a 2015 Subaru Forester. It's glorious.
Same size on the outside. We think.
It was approximately the same size on the outside.
But it was much bigger on the inside, especially in the front seat.
And the electronics were a lot easier to use.
More intuitive.
Yes. But I mean, I think that change happened.
And there was room for my knitting bag at my feet.
Yes.
As well as my purse.
Yes.
So that's how I know it was a lot more room.
So, we loved it.
Yes, we did.
We are not getting a new vehicle right now, but,
we did not do the apple cider donuts.
We did not.
Maybe apple cider muffins tomorrow. Or you're leaving tomorrow. You're leaving tonight?
No, tomorrow probably.
Maybe tomorrow. Well, maybe we do it tomorrow after my walk.
We can figure it out.
Anyway, because we got apple cider.
And we did.
Jericho's Apple Cider Mill on 106 is open. And they're very nice. They have hand sanitizer just about everywhere. They've got a no-touch credit card system. Kind of, it looks like the square that we have, at the knitting festival. So there's nothing for you to push. And whereas at the knitting festivals, they have you like hand sign your name.
Well,
they didn't even ask me.
That's been a new thing since coronavirus.
Right.
Is that they've now instituted, the credit card companies as well as the different processing organizations have changed their regulations on it. I think above a certain amount, you still have to sign for it.
I don't know, because now we're supposed to be getting sent a new credit card by Citibank that says you don't have to touch anything.
Okay. I'm just saying, because I don't know. I know there had been a...
So I think it's taking the tap and go thing that much further.
Yeah.
And I have to say that when we stopped for gas, because she had to refill the tank, to the point where we had it when we took the car.
They gave me a full tank of gas. I only had to put 3 gallons back in it because I did not drive it.
The station we stopped at had basically a 7-Eleven type of thing.
A market.
And I got an iced tea, and I did get a candy bar.
And you got candy bar from me?
I did, yes. And I was able to not have to touch anything but one thing with my one little finger. And so when I got in the car, she gave me hand sanitizer for my finger.
Yes. And you were very excited about that. It was adorable.
Yeah, well, it's been a long time since I've been able to stop in a convenience store, just run in and get something.
I know.
So Saturday it went well.
That was Friday.
Friday went well, between the apple cider mill.
Yes, and we stopped. We stopped at Joann's because my little cousin is a PhD student down in Florida. She just moved down there.
Miami.
And they're still talking about in-person classes, and that she'll have to TA. So I had
she's
texted
in the
her.
Sciences, so
we understand labs. We understand labs. We just hope that they're taking proper precautions, but we'll see. Mm-hmm. So I texted her about masks, and she said she has a few 3M ones and a bandana she's been using, and I was like, oh girl, I got you. So I have 9 of them cut out downstairs.
Okay. That new pattern?
No, I have another one of that new pattern. We can try that.
Yeah.
One. Well,
because
I just didn't have the oomph to do it.
My 3M ones, the surgical masks are difficult in physical therapy, but the cloth ones may also be difficult. I have one of the 3M ones that is an M95, and that's terrible because when I'm on the bicycle, I can't seem to get enough air. Mm-hmm. So these masks are.
But that is also because you are putting in physical exertion.
Oh, exactly. That's what I'm saying. These masks are fine from day to day, and certainly going through the stores and stuff.
Actually, there was a distance runner that one of the girls on Nerd Girls referenced to, and they had posted a good mask that they had. Oh, the distance runner had.
Let's check that out.
I will,
because I had also seen a mask. Remember, I had that pattern for the gator mask.
Yes,
downstairs,
I know.
Which I don't know that I'd wear to physical therapy, but it might be good for bicycle riding.
Okay, we'll take a look at what.
Well, let's look at what the runner has to say. Meanwhile, you finished something.
Well, yeah, but I went into Joann's to see if they had the shark fabric because my cousin's research is in sharks now, and of course that means she needs a shark mask or two. Come on now, people. Get on the thematic trend here.
You could also get her a crab one.
I have the turtles.
Crab research. Well, turtles is good. And she was doing
crab
research. up at Nantucket.
And she was doing frog
That's
research.
when she said the crab was coming on to your father. We walked into the tank and the crab did something. I don't know, snapped his claws or something. And she goes, he never gets that excited.
So, I'm pretty sure she doesn't.
Very attractive to this one crab.
Apparently.
Yeah.
But I don't think she watches us, so I can say it. But I wasn't able to find the fabric at Joann's. Joann's was also very well attended.
It was very busy on that Friday.
Keep that in mind if you are going. I would
might
go
not
at
have been so
opening.
busy on a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
Right. Or go towards opening or towards closing or something. But
right. We were
take care is all I'm saying, is take care.
We were late morning. What were we?
We were like 2-ish. Yeah.
Right, because
Yes, because we had lunch, and then you were like,
okay.
You have cut into my napping.
That's right.
And so I ended up not being able to find the fabric because apparently New York doesn't get the really cute shark fabric. I don't understand.
Well, but you had told me that you said it was in the store.
There was a really cutesy one.
Oh.
The, like, little kid one. Not the more adult
one. So I Googled
Mom,
in the car.
Yeah.
And found some really nice-looking shark fabric.
Yes.
And you chose one of them?
Well, I found one of them that was very similar to the Joann's. It might actually be a cut from Joann's on Etsy. So I bought that, and that will show up, I think, on Wednesday.
Okay.
So I will have all of these masks going
and then
out.
we'll ship it down
Yes,
for her.
because I don't really want to send down 2 packages, but we'll see. I don't know. But I've cut everything that needs to be cut. I just need to sit down and sew. I was going to do that this morning, but instead, I'm going to stand up for this because then you can see. I made a pair of pants.
Yes, she did. Whoa.
I'm not kicking you.
I know.
So
I just
they
don't want you to fall over.
They are the Bryas, the Brya joggers from Mood. They are a free pattern. You can tell they're a free pattern because you only end up cutting enough fabric for one cuff of the pants. Yep, I figured that one out.
Weird.
It's like, so the two sides, so, you know, a front and a back together, and so a front and a back together for a facing. Okay, so that's the 4 pieces that you've cut. That's one leg.
Oh.
You need 8 pieces.
Okay.
It's okay.
You had fabric.
I had fabric. I have a lot. This is the fabric that was the long, about 10-yard tube of light gray.
My mom.
Of light gray knit fabric that we found.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we might want to. I don't know what it is.
You have no idea.
Because it's comfy, but it's also a little
stiff,
unbreathing.
Oh, it's definitely a poly of some
It's
kind.
definitely a poly, but it's kind of cute.
My mother reveled in polys.
Yeah.
She likes knitting and acrylic, too.
Well, which we do, too. We've used Karen's. We use Lion brands, but Red Hearts are hard on our hands. There's a whole...
She would go for an acrylic because it doesn't pill. That's why she was sure that my father's sweater he had broken it or something because it was pilling. But her acrylic never pills. Her acrylic is never warm, but it doesn't pill. So my mother is of a group of women who are looking for something that you can throw in the washer and the dryer, doesn't pill, and basically you could, put a hot iron on it. It's just...
And melt the fibers. Yes, right. Okay.
So anyway.
I'm just saying that because there is a conversation happening right now in the knitting community about affordability.
Well, I understand that. Mom wasn't doing it for affordability. She was doing it because it wouldn't pill. It didn't act like wool. Didn't keep you warm either. But
she's such an enigma of contradictions.
She wants something that's going to sit up there and stay the way it was right there. Yes.
I love her dearly. This is why I now understand.
Time-saving conveniences. She loves canned vegetables. Canned vegetables, too.
But, I love her dearly, as we've said before, but, I also understand that she started knitting and was knitting throughout a time when superwash wasn't a thing.
It was not a thing.
So, I think... If she
you're a product of what you live through.
Yeah,
and for her, having things that are canned is really good because their family had to grow it.
Yeah, but I find it very amusing that when she's, when I find out that she was a, oh, because it'll stay the same. Yeah, so does superwash. And yes, everything pills. Pills are a good thing. They show wear. They show love.
And we offered to get her
a gleaner.
She goes, what do I want that thing for? Whatever.
Mind you, this is the same woman who will do laundry 4 times a day.
And she'll tell me she's bored. Well, she won't tell me she's bored. She wants to know what I'm doing. And I tell her what I'm doing. And she says, well, it would be nice if you were here. I said, I can pick you up a Canada Cross Stitch kit. No, I have plenty of that. Mm-hmm. I'm doing some knitting. Do you want me to send you some wool? No, I can do that. Well, I know you can. So
why aren't you?
That's what I'm doing.
It's okay.
Maybe I'll put on my sweater that I finished.
Okay.
Yes.
Which one did you finish?
I finished this one, finally.
Oh, you did? But yeah, so instead of making masks today, I made pants because I had started them. I started them last night and then got frustrated with them because I wasn't sure how they were going to work and how it was all going to happen. The waistband, the pants are gathered into the waistband. I think I did a pretty good job gathering it.
I think you did fine.
It's the first time I've done gathers by myself. I usually,
it involves a lot of pins and kind of dividing up
that's what
into halves, quarters, and then half of that and half of that and half of that so that you're getting equal.
Well, I did it quarters and then pin to here, in that quarter, and
then you get equal amounts of gathering all the way around.
Yeah, the only place I couldn't get equal gathers was across the pocket, and I think that's just because gathering that much fabric was so much harder for the actual fabric versus where it's only one layer. But yeah, oh, look at that, your Varma!
Yes, my Varma. Now, I do have an end to weave in. I couldn't find the needles last night. So, I am very much happier with this now, rather than that wimpy collar.
I like it. It looks good.
Before.
And much better than the tuliping situation we had last week.
Well, I think I could have maybe added another stitch in, maybe every 5th stitch,
but I like
something like this. But I think it's doing quite well. And it is going to be extremely warm. We made it
tunic length,
if you remember. And I think that with the patterning that there's in it, and then this, I like it very much better.
I like it.
Yes.
I like it a lot.
So
looks really good.
We have an end to weave in up at the neckline, and after that, it is done.
Yay!
Yes. So, very happy with all of it.
So, I can't remember where I was on this last Sunday, but...
Oh, I left my stitch markers downstairs. We'll show you the stitch markers
I left something at home, too, that I got in the mail, so that's okay. We'll have the
mail call next week.
Yeah, so I have finished the colorwork section of my test knit. Look at how gorgeous it is. It looks so good. So now I'm on the back. I am knitting, or the front. I'm knitting the straight portion of the front. I didn't actually make this as long as it says in the pattern, but I did try it on, and I actually pinned it to a tank top and took some photos of it, and I really like it. And this is alpaca, so it will grow. It will definitely grow as I wear it and as it lives on. So I'm excited about that. And then I'm realizing what I did this week was I did a lot, but not a lot at all, too. So I ended up also doing a swatch of a linen stitch kind of raglan test for someone on Facebook that I'm in a Facebook group, and they posted, would anyone mind doing a test swatch because I'm not sure if all of this is working the way I want it to. And I was like, okay, sure. I have some DK. So this is Yowza from Babs. And it's a really nice little linen stitch raglan.
Oh, that's nice.
It doesn't have much stretch, but it has more stretch than I had anticipated. And that it might be the actual yarn, like that it's the superwash.
I like that.
Yeah. So, just as an aside, if you, like I, are not the biggest fan of linen stitch, these are size 8, so larger needles plus larger yarn And maybe, you know, like a superwash or something
springy. It feels
really might help with that. So I'm intrigued. I think she's still working on the pattern. So I don't know if I will be test knitting it in full or if whatever it is, but I just figured I like swatching, so I would help someone out.
Very nice.
So that I did this week. Oh, and then I've gotten up to this point of my pull me over.
So
and now see, even though I'm striping every 2 rows, it's still flashing and pooling. Interesting.
It's
just go with it. Yeah, I'm just going to go with it for now.
It's just a design element.
Yeah. So I finished the first ball. I've attached the second, obviously. I need to wind up the third, and I'm going to attach it to where the first one ended, so that I can just keep going. I have probably another 15. Well, I have 20, which means I had 22. 22 minus 2, 4, 5. 22 minus 5 is 17. So I have 17 more rows until I hit, I think, the waist decreases, or at least until I hit the point where I try it on. Okay. Hopefully I'll hit that tonight. Mind you, I had to rip out the body of this yesterday.
You chose to rip it out.
Well, I was concerned. No, I was concerned about it. Because you don't want freaking vertical stripes on a ribbed sweater.
I never really noticed.
This is the same reason you striped your starflake or your snowflake.
No, I did it because that's what people tell you to do with hand dye yarn.
Right.
And I didn't have the same dye lot.
Right. So, I don't know if these are the same dye lot. We bought them in 2014.
Well, I knew because I had 3 different wild irises.
So I did what they say not to do,
right?
And I didn't switch yarns. I didn't stripe. Mom was striping every other row. I've decided now to stripe every 2 rows. Okay. So don't give me that.
Well, I didn't do it because of it might be lines or something. I just did it because people have said that's what you do.
So that you don't get the lines.
Well,
Mom.
I never heard the rest of it. I didn't.
You're the one who told me that years ago.
So you don't get a line between the skeins.
No, it's also so that you don't get different pooling between them.
I was more concerned about here's where this skein ends and this skein begins, and there's that line. That's what I was concerned about.
So that's my knitting. What else have you been working on this week, Mom?
I've been working on my counted cross stitch.
Well, we have this discussion.
So yes, that's the line I've been worried about. Is this line between the dye lots because of that coat I made.
I know. Which is still sitting right there.
Down there that I hadn't done the embroidery on. Mm-hmm. Maybe this year.
Maybe. Since we're all stuck inside?
Yes. Look at that.
It's a boat, guys. It's a boat.
Look at that. That looks really good.
It looks really good, Mom.
I've been looking at it like really close up. But it looks really good. I'm very pleased with this. Very, very pleased. And that actually does look like Lake Como
it looks
in
really
Italy. We were there 5 years ago?
More than that. Only a little bit more than that, though. But
maybe 7. And we were up at Lake Como for, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. I easily could spend 2 weeks. Easily. But I wouldn't pick the hotel we were at because it was up on the hill rather than down by the lake, and I would pick one that was down by the lake. Mm-hmm. I understand from the news that the towns around the lakes in Italy are starving because they really do survive on tourists, and of course the tourists are not coming. It's a shame because they're some of those beautiful places. Mm-hmm. And what's not to like? You can see Alps. You can dangle your feet in the water. Prices weren't bad. And there were little ice cream shops everywhere, and I could get frozen soy something, whatever, tofuti.
I wasn't there. I don't know.
Get it. And so it was a really nice vacation. So anyway, so I'm making counter cross stitches of places where we might have been. And then, yes, when I'm running out of, well, I finished that odd little color down here, I'm finding where else it fits in and finishing it
Looks
off.
good.
Yes. I'm almost at a point, well, I'm going to finish this bit, and then I'm going to move my hoop up.
Nice.
Yes. So I will finish the next 2 boxes here, and then it will move up. And I've got another little boat right up here, which is what my goal this week was to do the outline of this boat. That didn't happen.
Okay.
I did the outline of this boat instead because I really needed to, in order to do the outline, you need to do the water around it. And this hoop wasn't going to let me do the water around it. So I'm going to do this water up to here, move the hoop, and then I'll have the second third.
Yep.
And I'll probably have to move the hoop one more time in order to get the top. So it's coming along.
It is.
I'm finding that if I have the 2 or 3 colors that are in a line, sometimes that helps, especially with these long runs of blue, so that I can see, well, this blue ends at that point. Well, now I can fill it in with this, because if I go back later, I'm really kind of getting lost in the blues.
Reasonable.
Yes, because they're pretty close.
They are.
And that's about all that I have to report on this. It really is something that I like to do of an evening. We're watching BritBox. BritBox is doing its murder month.
Which means that they're releasing new murder mystery shows and or movies.
Not brand new, but new to them.
No, new to them. So it's not like these are going to go away at the end of the month.
No.
They're not special just for this month.
I wouldn't think so.
We have started a few things that we will be continuing, but
and
recently
Netflix has brought in a couple things.
Yes.
You want to talk about what we binge watched?
Did we talk about Old Guard last week? We might have. Well, last
we
week
did like
we watched
that.
Old Guard. That was good.
Yes.
And then this week we
got
watched.
spoiled.
Huh?
We got spoiled.
Oh, we've been very spoiled with the amount of like sci-fi fantasy stuff that's been coming out recently.
I'm waiting for the second season of Witcher.
That's probably not going to be 2020. They're saying 2021, 2022.
Oh, really?
They've already cast it, but I don't believe they started production pre-COVID.
Okay, right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Again, if you like sci-fi fantasy, and you like high fantasy, I would suggest The Witcher if you haven't already seen it.
It's rather gory, just to warn
It's a
you.
little gory, but it's also glorious.
Not quite as bad as what we watched today.
True. So today we watched
last night.
Cursed, which is
on Netflix.
Yes, which is an Authurian,
King Arthur.
Yeah.
Authurian?
Authurian, I think is the term, but it doesn't sound right.
Tale.
Retelling, kind of.
I think it's like sci-fans. What do you call them? Fan fiction. Because it takes the story and winds it around a very different way.
Which you're allowed to do.
In fan fiction.
In any fiction, there is no...
It's just not the story.
No, Mom. Authurian tales have at least 4 different tellings of them in historical canon anyways.
Did you have one like this?
No, but this is also... No. Oh, but we're going to get into this. We've been running around this topic the last 24 hours.
Was it good?
It was okay. So
all right, so
the
if
thing
it had
is,
been good, if it had been good,
no.
I might have appreciated it.
But you keep on saying, this is not the tale. The Authurian tale changes depending on what freaking version, whether you read the French, whether you read the Old English, whether you read the Middle English ones, whether you read the modern ones. Almost none of them tell the same story.
They don't tell it like this.
This was told from the point of Nimue. So the point was to center her because there aren't any really good female-centric Authurian tales.
Well, no, there are several about Morgana.
So
there are several about Morgana because I've read them.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
This was not a good
It was okay. We haven't read the book that it is based upon, so we cannot say anything about the source material.
We don't know whether it clung to the book or not.
It has potential. It did not deliver on said potential during the season that we watched. However,
it wasn't as good as last week's.
It was not as good as Old Guard. I will tell you that. But I am not going to keep saying that it's fanfiction, because it's not. Because all of Authurian tales then are technically fanfiction of the Middle English. Yes.
Maybe it was because it wasn't that good.
I think so. I think you also get very upset when people take characters that you do this also with Superman stories.
Yes, I do.
You do this with Superman stories
I know
too.
the canon on Superman.
So Superman is a different kind of thing as well, because Superman has a very distinct origin story from the 50s and 60s,
from the 30s,
but specifically when you were growing up and you grew up with them. The author and it grew as you were growing up too. So. And you have gone through the reboots and the retcons and the alternate universes.
I've also read Arthurian tales from the point of King Arthur, as well as Morgana.
And I read from Merlin and from Lancelot and from, Guinevere. But this was
bad. It was not good.
It wasn't well written as far as we could tell. However, I am not knocking the concept because I like the concept.
I'm not knocking the actors either. They only can do what they're given.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Did you not say we had a problem till at least the 4th episode?
We had a problem. I fell asleep in the 3rd or 4th episode, and I woke up for the 5th episode, and I still could understand what was going on because we were still confused as hell. Also, they bring up something in the very, very first episode that they never, really pay off throughout the rest of it. And I'm like, okay, but why was this important? They don't explain that. So I'm tempted to reach out to my comic book shop and to get the book. Because I'm like, I want to know. Because I just don't.
No,
and it's very frustrating because I want to like it.
It was, yes. We started out really wanting to like it.
Yes. And by the end, we were just rage finishing it.
Yeah. So sometimes that happens.
So
we watched all 10 episodes.
Yes.
And I said that I would not watch a season 2 if it came along.
I would wait for a week for the first set of reviews to come out. And then read all of the synopses, and then determine whether or not I would watch it.
This was very gory.
Yes, which I don't mind.
To little effect, I think.
They didn't. There wasn't enough. So there was a lot of show, not tell, but there wasn't enough tell to understand the show.
Right.
There's a whole So there are essentially three sects.
Can watch it. It's on Netflix.
And let us know, because
and see if you think I'm crazy.
And let us know if we missed something, because obviously we might have.
I mean, I really wanted to love these characters.
And I loved,
and obviously gore doesn't bother me since I love The Witcher.
Right. Well, and we were saying, we really like these, a bunch of, the third, tier characters.
Yes.
These,
we
third
really
characters.
did.
There's one named Pym who we love.
Pym.
We want to know more about Pym. Also, we know most of the names, even though they're not always said explicitly, because we put captions on.
Well, because with accents from a different country, I sometimes have trouble understanding exactly what they're saying. So the series we're watching now, which came on BritBox, it's Taggart, and it's heavily Scottish. So it's in
English.
No, it's in not Edinburgh. It's in Glasgow, and they have Glaswegian accents, and sometimes I find it just a little bit difficult to catch what the word is. So I put in the captions.
We also have Father, who comes in and out and will interrupt, and so I can answer the questions from Father, and Mother can read them. I find the closed
captions to be really helpful, because we're getting, and talk about my French pathologist. It's so much fun to read the French underneath. And sometimes I'm listening to the French and I'm watching the English and say, oh, I knew that.
Yes.
I could have caught that. Mm-hmm. So I do also understand how people from another country come here and listen to television and can actually learn some kind of English by watching the television. So
Definitely.
It's been a very heavy television watching weekend, although...
Because it is very warm outside, and with our migraines, we tend to...
I had a bad week.
Well, we've had bad weeks of migraines, but also with the heat, it tends to exacerbate our migraines. It's weird, because either a storm or extreme heat, and for us, extreme heat is above 90, usually, with no cloud cover. Even if we're well hydrated, Mom and I tend to get migraines more easily in those temperature ranges.
It was a difficult week with migraines for me. But I've been out walking every morning.
You have.
So I've gotten in at least...
I've been sleeping.
0.4 of a mile to 0.8 of a mile. Once around the block or twice around the block in the morning. So I have gone out with my sun hat on. I honestly, I don't put sunscreen on because I'm not out that long. Mm-hmm. And it hasn't done it. I haven't turned any colors.
Good.
So, and I do get out and walk. So I get out and walk probably by 9:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. I have done my perambulations around. So that I've gotten fresh air. I've gotten some exercise. It's helped my singing a great deal because I've got a lot more breath control, which is nice. So, yeah, now that the week of migraines is over. Hopefully, yeah. I didn't get much more done on my knitting because of I was taking a lot of naps trying to get rid of the headache.
No, I understand.
But hopefully that's done for the month.
Hopefully.
Yes.
But what I had, so I worked on my cross stitch. Not really. You'll see. I didn't work on it. I tested out some things.
Was that what that is?
Yes. So I have this fabric, which is 36 or 28 count linen. And I have a pattern that I have to do at least 27 stitches per inch in order for it to fit. So this will be 28 stitches per inch, which means it's smaller. Usually you do these things over 2. I tried that the math won't work for how I want to back it.
You're doing over 1.
I'm doing it over 1. So I tested out whether I want to use 1 thread or 2. I think I want to use 2. It makes it
very defined.
I like the defined effect.
And it has good coverage.
And exactly, I like the coverage. And I tried doing it on 32 count. I had 32 count, I think. I think it was 32, not 36.
And I... over 2 stitches?
No, and doing it over 1.
Oh, dear.
And
that was very small.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad, y'all.
You would have needed one of those.
I would have needed a magnifying glass, definitely. So
I have that lamp downstairs.
I know, I would have, so I was able to sit at the couch here at the house.
Well, it helps that my big lamp goes right there
Well,
at the
I did
corner.
it during the day without the lamp on. So.
Oh, you're brave.
Well, it was fine during the day without the lamp. So I think I'll be able to do it. So I'm going to grid out my project today, probably. Tonight or tomorrow, maybe tomorrow.
Which is very thin fishing line.
Yes. I have some somewhere in my apartment, but it has done a runner. So who knows? It could show up next week.
It could show up. A lot of cleaning. So
I have done a lot of cleaning. Unfortunately, I still have not found that piece.
Okay.
It's okay though. So there is a book called Magical Cross Stitches or something like that, which I have bought 2 copies of.
Oh, well, you can give me one.
No. One of them I lost while I was still living in this house. Then I bought the second one. The second one I thought I lost earlier this month, 2 months ago. And I was like, nope. We are going to do... I want to get
cleanup.
Well, I want to get a new bookshelf anyways. So I was like, when I get the new bookshelf and I do my bookshelf reorganization, if I don't find it then whatever.
Did you look in this closet?
Hold on. I took my scrapbooking stuff out of the cardboard box that it had been living in and put it into a different box, a more sustainable box for moving and taking around. And then moved my pink box of needlepoint such crafts up 1 level on my bookshelf. And lo and behold, there it was. Good. I swear I've looked there 3 times since I've been trying to find it. Didn't see it.
I'm sure we'll find it one of these days too.
Or it's gone, which is fine.
You never know.
But yeah, so I finally found that, which was very nice to know. So it's good to have that, and now I know where it is.
I had done another panel on my circle sweater.
Oh.
And turned that in for my
Good.
Phoenix broom.
Mission.
Yes, my mission.
Good.
For 25 points, and I did get the 25 points.
Oh, good.
So that's good. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to try to do a panel a week.
Okay.
Because now my hands hurt.
Yeah.
Trying to do the sock, the panel,
well, and the cross stitch,
else.
holding that hoop hurts your hand more than you probably think.
Probably, but in a different way than
Yeah.
knitting does. So I'm slowing down intentionally a little bit on the knitting to try to use other muscles
Good plan.
in the hands. But if I try to do a panel a week, so maybe 3 rows, and another 3 rows, and another 3 rows, and then back up and down and back, and that will slowly get that done, because I would like maybe just a couple rows on the pig.
Mm-hmm.
That will slowly get that working.
Right.
So that's in the bag to go back downstairs.
Mm-hmm. So, to bring this around back to the acrylic discussion, I just wanted to bring up that there are talks of pattern accessibility and yarn substitutions going on in the community right now. And as you all know,
there was something I saw today on a Twitter feed from, I don't think it was Romy Hill, but I started off looking at Franklin Habit, and it wasn't from him, it was from somebody else. Anyway, one of the designers says, "It is my job to tell you the pattern directions and the yarn that I use. It is not my job to tell you what yarn you can use." And I think that's probably true. Because you're the one who, you got a stash.
Not everyone does.
But you may have a stash, so you don't want to be dictated to.
Right. But
go ahead.
We have to recognize that there are prescriptive knitters out there, and that predominantly those who are having these issues are the prescriptive knitters. They want the exact pattern.
Which would put them into great difficulty if they were in Great Britain and the different places I've been, because a lot of places in Great Britain, they don't have a lot of the more expensive yarn. They have a lot of the inexpensive yarn. So if you
have to order online, and then you then you have the import fees, and then you have all the import taxes and all of that.
Very expensive.
So I understand where everyone is coming from.
And we don't have the 5 and dimes that we used to have.
No, but
we used to be able to get Red Heart.
Right.
And a lot of Michael's has Patton's Croy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Lion Brand and
Karen has some lovely
and
stuff.
Loops and Thread, which we've used all 3 of those companies for projects and have no problem using them at all. I have some sweaters planned from them. I
also wouldn't tell someone they had to go out and buy new yarn.
No, but that's because you're not a prescriptive knitter.
Right. Nor would I want to be a prescriptive designer.
Right. But
that's why you make a swatch.
Mom, you're bringing up all of the points of why people don't want to. That's the thing.
Don't want to what?
Put in the effort. A swatch is an effort. Thinking of alternative substitutions is an effort. They want to use exactly
they've made that decision.
Right. And so they want the designer to tell them what they can do. We're here to tell you.
It really depends on your gauge.
It depends on your gauge. If you all watching are having issues with yarn substitution, or you have things that you're just not sure about with yarn substitution, feel free to reach out. Sure. We both are quite proficient at swatch math for figuring out if it works for a pattern.
There shouldn't be a problem with you finding a yarn that you really like, finding a pattern that you like, and making it in some way, shape, or form. But you may have to do some math. It's like the My Boy Lollipop, which is down here. I didn't realize that it was not made in fingering. And
I told you multiple times, and you said I can do it in fingering, and I was like, yes, you can. I have no doubt you can, but
and I'm going to do it in fingering.
Yes,
and it was made easier by having the designer come out with larger size patterns, which people are clamoring for, is larger size patterns,
yes,
so that people
of
any size,
of all shapes and sizes.
That's what I said, of any size, can make that dress or that sweater that they want to make, because you're the one who's creating the fabric, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of which, making fabric, I ordered a weaving kit.
So,
I'm going to make a towel.
good.
Yes. I will be making the fabric.
Yes, you're tangenting on a very important topic.
So, but when you're making the fabric, you can then make it as big or as small as you want to make it. It does involve some math.
Yes.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, buy within your means.
Yes.
Budget appropriately if you have to. And yes, we do know that we talk about a lot of indie dyers and hand-dyed yarns, and we understand that it is expensive. Believe me, I understand it's expensive. We have stashes. I have a very well-budgeted, well-curated stash at my apartment.
This has been developed in the last 10 years.
Yeah. These have all, this has been something...
I went to...
At least the last 6 to 10 years is how long it is.
And Rhinebeck and...
For the last 6 years.
Said I saved up my allowance.
Yeah.
You know, I said I'm going and I want to take cash, because then I know what I'm going to spend and I'm not going to spend past that. And now I go and I say, well, I really need to fill in these holes that I have. Maybe I want more DK. Maybe I want more worsted, because I don't have a lot of either one of those. I certainly don't need, I'm looking over there. I have an entire cabinet of fingering. And the things that I'm making here, yes, the pig, Oliver, was a kit that I bought because I didn't have to think about one. I didn't have to think about it. It's a Christmas gift, and it was going to be fun to make something for Chloe. And the weaving kit that I bought today, that whenever it arrives, my weaving has not seen great success. But that's because I'm a novice at it. And when we're on vacation and we take our own towels and washcloths, my husband seems to be a washcloth and towel hound.
So you know at work, if you work in an office, there's that one guy or one girl who's or one person who's a pen stealer. Yeah. My father is a washcloth and towel stealer.
Yeah. So I figure
you have to, when we share a hotel room, I blatantly either have to have my own bathroom, because at Marriott Residence Inns you can sometimes get 2 bathrooms, or I have to be like, I need one of this towel and one of that towel and one of these things, and you leave one of them for me. If not, you will be the one to call the front desk.
By making my towels and washcloths,
he won't take them.
He tends to be able to identify the ones that are handmade.
Yes.
So then I can claim them as mine.
Oh, good.
So that's one of the reasons I'm very excited about this kit, because it's fairly a beginnerish kit. There was one that I saw 2 weeks ago that they actually had tufted towels. But they said that was for an intermediate weaver, and I knew I was not that person. So I have to go look and make sure I have a 12 dent reed. Thank you. That bumper thing. I have a 4-shaft loom, so that's not a problem. And so we'll be able to talk about those things too. I'm not sure about my reed. I have to check on the reed. If I don't have one, I'll order one of those too.
But we just wanted to say,
So crafting is forging ahead here.
But also,
even though I'm spinning again.
I'm so proud of you. You keep interrupting me trying to have a serious conversation about what's going on right now, Mom.
Oh, sorry. Well, other than the spinning and the weaving?
Yes, I keep on trying to have this conversation about affordability and telling our viewers
affordability is very important.
That it's very important, and that we understand that we have a privilege of having a well-curated stash that we are pulling from currently.
We've already talked about that. Go ahead, dear. Affordability is really important.
It is. And if you cannot afford what we are recommending, but you would like to replicate something that we have made, and you would like some help finding alternatives, please reach out to us.
Absolutely. And as I said, Michael's is often a really good choice.
Yeah,
if you've got one around.
And I mean, honestly, I'm thinking of making another artichoke French, but I would want to make it in, as we call them, boyfriend-friendly fibers, and which means not wool. Right. So I was thinking probably going with Lion brand, because I think in alpaca, it won't, I think the drape will be too much for that. I don't think it'll hold the structure for that sweater that it needs.
Well, wait till I can't judge until you get it done.
The
artichoke French.
Artichoke French. Sorry. I don't think it would work in alpaca as well, but I think in acrylic, it'll be fine. Yeah, and I think, but I also think that sweater in alpaca, I would only be able to wear it in the dead of winter.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of more.
Yeah, so I think, so that's an option. And also, it's less expensive that way.
It depends. I spent a great deal on Chloe's sweater.
Yes, but I'm just saying.
And that was from Michael's.
Yes, but I'm just saying.
You can get away with less.
You can get away with less.
I went in with a picture in my mind of what I wanted to get, and so I bought what was closest to it.
Yes, and I think it was one of the specialty. Well, what even was it?
I don't remember, but it was exactly what I wanted.
Then that's good.
So yes.
But yes, so on that topic, we know we knit, And
I started knitting with Red Heart.
Yes. And Red Heart, we typically don't disparage, or we do only disparage due to the fact that it's crunchy. And it physically hurts to knit with. And there are better acrylic qualities for similar pricings.
Do you know I started knitting when Red Heart with wool?
Oh, wow. I'm so impressed.
It was a shock to me when Red Heart went to acrylic.
Oh, wow. Because it wasn't because then it became crunchy.
Yeah.
Oh. But yes, so, I mean, I prefer Karen as an alternative to Red Heart. It's still decently inexpensive, as well as Loops and Threads, which is kind of like, I think, the Michaels brand. But just wanted to bring that up because I know that we do talk about indie dyers a lot on here, but also we understand that...
And Knitpick often has sales.
Often, yes. Oh, yes, because all of your Dishy and all of that...
was $1 a ball.
Yeah. So, keep an eye out. Oh, also, if you still want to support your local yarn store, typically they'll have sale sections, or they'll carry something like Barocco is usually less expensive, as well as Cascade. Not on the same level as usually Lion Brand or Karen or anything like that, but they are. So I wanted to just make that known. Also, if you're having trouble with swatch math, please don't hesitate to reach out. I really do enjoy doing swatch and sweater math. It's a weird little idiosyncrasy of myself.
But, Stops do have their sale baskets.
Yes.
And that can be very helpful for buying something.
Lavanya Pacelli posted on Instagram a lot about how she tends to buy from the sale baskets. And a lot of her designs are brioche, because you can use a really special color or a special yarn for one of the colors, and then the background color, or usually it's the contrast color is the fancy one, and then the main color is something a little bit better, or a little bit
less than half
more
price.
Commercial.
I got them out of the sale basket.
Yeah.
So.
And I think I've got an entire sweaters quantity of a Rowan from Knit's sale, and it was like half off at least.
So this is linen and cotton. So this would be a summer sweater of some description, and I was able to get it out of the sale basket, something like 60% off.
So
and so it's well worth taking a look. People have it there because they thought it was good enough to buy for the store to begin with. You shouldn't be ashamed of buying it because it's out of the sale basket.
But again, don't just go by what the designers are recommending. As you can see, we usually don't. A lot of the time. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. We talked about that before, I think. But I think one of the only sweaters I've done out of the recommended yarn recently...
I can't remember the last time I did it.
I think was the Artichoke French.
I
think because that's an Empire. That's out of Empire.
And they Knitted in Empire?
Yeah.
Okay. The last one I did was the... No, Empire was not. No, I usually look at the weight. I check the gauge. I do a gauge swatch.
And if you want further information on yarn substitution, there's a really good article on MDK, Modern Daily Knitting. We'll link it below, about grist, which is something I hadn't thought of before, but I had found, but I like inadvertently had figured out about.
Is that the crunch?
No, it's the amount of yarn per, so something can be labeled a DK, but if say the pattern yarn is a DK and it says it's 210 for 210 yards for 100 grams.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to substitute, you want something that's a DK weight that has approximately 210 yards per 100 grams. There are DKs that are
fatter or skinnier.
Like, I don't think we have a DK with a label. Do we? Malabrigo Rios is actually, it's 210, 150, or for 100 grams. But
here's a damsel.
DK? No, damsel's not DK. I think that's Traveler. Yeah, Traveler. So Traveler is a good example versus the Malabrigo Rios. So this is Rios. You'll see it's a little bit fatter. And this is Traveler by Cephalopod or Dragonfly or Verdant Griffin. And this is 280 or 270 to 280 per 100 grams. So there's a distinct difference in the grist. And that can affect the size of your finished object versus the pattern.
This is 275.
And that's 275. So these two are more similar. So this is Studio DK from Neighborhood Fiber Co. If you can't see, Mom is searching for yarns.
Yeah, just up here. This is
the DK section.
The stash diving.
So just keep that in mind. I had thought of it, but in a, like, you have to still swatch for yarns kind of way. But having now read the article by MDK about grist, I feel a little bit more confident when I pick things that are closer in yardage per weight or yardage per gram.
Because
I tend to do it also by grams.
The thickness of the ply.
Yeah. I tend to also do, and also the fiber content. Something to keep in mind is that cottons and alpacas, cottons are heavier than wools and alpacas. Alpacas can be lighter or heavier than wools, depending on how they're spun.
And cotton stretch.
Cotton will grow because it is a plant fiber. It is more slick.
Yes.
It doesn't have it's like your hair. You see how it kind of fuzzes, or if you've seen a hair follicle magnified on like the TV when they have those shampoo commercials, you have those scales.
Yes.
And yarn has that too, and that's what makes yarn and specifically wool hold together the way it does. Alpacas still have, animal fibers have that, plant fibers do not. They are slick.
Silk is slick.
Is slick. So, just to keep that in mind when you are doing your substitutions, I found that with, what did I substitute? I did one substitution where I realized it was not the best
I try to stay within the same kind of fibers.
Yeah.
Although I may try to do something that is made for wool with a cotton wool mix. Because often I'll find that there's enough wool in the mix to hold the sweater in the proper proportions. But I really, unless it's a big swingy type of sweater, I wouldn't think that a sweater made out of cotton would act the way that the sweater made out of wool would act. So you need to think about the fibering, you need to think about the weight.
And so
there's also the way you knit it.
But as we're talking primarily about the affordability, acrylics act more like plant fibers, so But they have a manufactured quality to them that gives them that wool-like stickiness. I don't know how, I haven't done the like scientific research on why it acts the way it does, but it does have a bit more of the...
Like it's been sandpapered, roughed up.
Yes. So as you wash it and wear it, it does tend to grow more over longer periods of time.
Yes.
But it's still in... I think it's like the first like 1 or 2 years, it still will act very similar to wool. So just keep that in mind. As you all have probably seen, I do a lot of substitutions for non-wool fibers or wool blends. I've realized over the last week that this has contributed to my swatching and why I am such a big proponent of swatching and actually washing your swatches and treating your swatches the way you're going to treat your finished object, so that you can know exactly how your finished object will act, and that'll then dictate what size you knit, and also if you make any modifications. Yeah. So I think that all plays into this as well. Unfortunately, it does mean that there's a little bit of effort and work that has to go into it. But again, if any of you need help, reach out. I'm more than happy to help. I bet Mom is more than happy. I might have to do some translating for her because sometimes she doesn't understand when someone's like, well, of course you can use that yarn. No, Mom, there's a whole nother level to this of, yes, you can use that yarn. You can use it because this, and this. Or she'll miss the first sentence of things. It happens. So that's also why I have also the Instagram account on my phone, so I can tell her, hey, by the way, you have a message. Yeah. That's always my favorite text message to send. Hey, Ma, check the Instagram. Oh, I forgot I had that.
You know, the day is so full.
So full being retired.
So full being retired. And taking my walks.
Oh, your walks and your naps?
My walks, my naps, my singing.
Yes.
So we're still doing a recording of the Sunday hymns.
Yes.
Let's see. There was sailing that gets in there.
Yes.
I was the lunchroom proctor for
you were? Yes, I heard
club.
About this. Yes.
So I'm very busy.
So busy. But yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up as it is something that is happening in the community. And I know that we tend to pick, we do pick some of the cool patterns and some a little bit off the beaten path as well. But that we also have yarns, you know, Mom has all this Verdant Griffin that you see behind her, all these green, you know, tags, which, you know, was a higher priced indie dyer a few years ago before they stopped dyeing.
Well, I also have some Patton's Croix.
Right, but, you know, so just, and you can see some Barocco right there. So just wanted to point it out as it is a thing that's happening, and I think it's something that should be addressed. Okay. But also, we believe that those who are doing the dyeing for indie dyers should be able to live, if they decide that they want to live off of dyeing, that they should be able to. So
it's a lot of work.
Someone,
if you can. Mentioned last week, someone in physical therapy said, would I make them a pair of socks? And I said no, because one, the cost of the yarn, and two, I don't think I can make a pair of socks in less than about 30 hours. Right. So you figure $10 an hour, $15 an hour is minimum wage. Right. There is no way that pair of socks you'd ever get paid for that. So, you know, you have to, what people think about in terms of what's low cost and what is actually low cost may be several different things. And this is my hobby, you know.
And you're retired.
And I'm retired. And I was very lucky to get a well-paying job. Of course, I went to school forever so I could get the degree, so I could get the job that I really wanted, and I was lucky to have a job that I truly loved. So I was lucky on many accounts, but I've been able to go to the local yarn festivals and speak to the people who are doing the dyeing. I've had some lovely conversations with Miss Babs.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's a pip, and we're often there before or after. We sometimes volunteer.
And teach.
At the various festivals, and so we've been able to have conversations with people, and I love hearing their stories and their opinions on things. So, yes, I've been quite fortunate. Absolutely.
But yeah, we just wanted to point that out because it is something that's happening out there. But I don't want any of our viewers, if you are struggling with, and if you are struggling with yarn substitutions, the math side of it, reach out. I'm, as I keep saying, more than happy. There was someone I follow. I don't even know how I started following her. I think I started following her because she did travel stuff. I don't remember even. And she does knitting stuff. And she's in the UK. And she posted a knitting problem on her stories one day. And I responded and I was like, I don't know if you've already solved this or not, but here are some options. And we ended up chatting for a little while, like helping her through it. And she was like, this is really great. Thank you so much. And I was like, yeah, sure. But that's just how my brain works. I was talking to someone this week, and I work in construction. I'm an engineer by degree. This is how my brain works. I made a pair of pants in less than 24 hours. My brain does really well
in construction
of things. So if you need help with the construction of a garment, please reach out. I'm more than happy to help. We can, do it over Instagram. We can, do it over Rav message.
Sure.
We can figure it out. But I think it is time to weave in our ends.
And I do have that end to weave in.
You do have that end to weave in.
I do have that. So hopefully by next week I will have woven it in.
Hopefully.
Yes.
But yeah.
Bye everybody.
Y'all.